Let me ask you something on this first night of a new month. When did you last stop and genuinely acknowledge how far you've come? Not what's still broken, not what's next on the list, but the actual distance you've already traveled. If you're like most of us, the honest answer is almost never. We are experts at asking what's next and near total beginners at asking how far have I come. We reach a goal and immediately look for the next one, never once turning around to see the mountain we just climbed. Tonight the sky offers the rarer question. The moon is a waning gibbous now, August 1st, 2026, about 90% lit, settling gently down from the full moon, in reflective Leo. And a new month has just begun. It's the natural moment to look back before we rush forward, because you have come much further than you give yourself credit for. And tonight, for once, we're going to actually look. This is your moon letter for how far you've come. Let's open it. Look up tonight, and she's a waning gibbous, about 90% lit, a couple of nights past full and softening steadily. And tonight she's the perfect teacher for looking back because of everything she's just done. Cast your mind back 2 weeks. She was a thin, barely there crescent, a sliver of light you had to search for. And from that near nothing, night by night, sliver by sliver, she grew all the way to completely full. It was one of the most complete transformations in nature, and she did it in about 14 days. But here's the thing, on any single night of that climb, the growth was almost invisible. Tonight versus last night, barely a difference. You could never have watched her grow in real time. It's only when you look back across the whole arc, from thin crescent to full moon to now, that the enormous distance becomes visible. And that is exactly how your own growth works. Day to day, it's imperceptible. You can't see yourself changing any more than you can watch the moon fill. But look back across weeks, months, a year, and the distance is undeniable. Tonight, the waning moon invites you to do what she can't do for herself, to turn around and see the whole arc you've traveled. The energy tonight is reflective warmth, Leo's heart turned, gently, toward the road behind you. All week Leo has been about the present blaze, being seen, shining, standing in full light. Tonight, waning, that same warmth turns backward with kindness, toward everything you've already been and done. And this is important, because looking back is only healing when it's done with warmth. There's a cold way to look back, scanning the past for failures, regrets, evidence that you should have done more, moved faster, been further along by now. That's not what tonight is for, and Leo, at its warmest, won't allow it. Leo looks back the way a proud, loving heart looks at someone it adores, seeing the effort, honoring the struggle, celebrating the distance covered. So the invitation tonight is to turn that generous Leo warmth, which you've spent all cycle giving outward, back toward your own journey. Not to judge how far you've come against where you think you should be, but to genuinely honor how far you've actually traveled from where you started. Same warmth, aimed backward at you. In human design, the sun is in gate 33, the gate of retreat, and tonight it's the second line, which deepens the retreat into something specific, review. Where last night's first line was simply about pulling back to the quiet, the second line is about what you do in that quiet. You look back over the experience and harvest its meaning. Gate 33 is sometimes called the gate of the storyteller's memory. It withdraws not to forget, but precisely to remember well, to gather the events of a chapter and see what they actually meant. And the second line brings a natural, almost instinctive quality to it. This isn't forced analysis. It's the organic looking back that happens when you finally get quiet enough. So, Gate 33, second line, on this waning moon at the start of a new month, is beautifully timed. It says, now that you've retreated from the noise, do the real work of the retreat, look back. Review the cycle, the season, the year. Not to criticize it, but to harvest it, to see what happened, what you learned, how far you moved. Because an experience you don't review just evaporates. But an experience you look back on with honest eyes becomes wisdom you carry forward and proof of a capability you can lean on next time. The retreat gave you the quiet. The looking back is what you're meant to do with it. So let's understand why we're so genuinely, chronically bad at seeing our own progress. Because it's not a character flaw, it's built into how perception works, and knowing the mechanism helps you correct for it. The first reason we've already touched: growth is too slow to see day to day, exactly like the moon. Real change happens in increments so small that on any given day, nothing looks different. You don't feel yourself getting stronger, wiser, more healed in real time. The daily change is below the threshold of perception. So without deliberately looking back across a long span, you simply never see it, and you conclude, wrongly, that you haven't moved. The second reason is crueler. We move the goalposts the instant we reach them. You set a goal, you work toward it, you achieve it, and in the very moment of arrival, your mind quietly relabels it from impressive goal to obvious baseline and sets a new, higher goal. So you never get to stand on the ground you gained. It's reclassified as the bare minimum before you've even caught your breath. The thing you once desperately wanted becomes the thing you now take for granted, and you feel, perpetually, like you haven't done enough. The third reason is a memory bias. We remember the gap, never the ground. Ask someone how they're doing and they'll tell you instantly everything that's still wrong, still missing, still not there yet. The gap between here and the goal is vivid, detailed, always in focus. But the ground already covered, the distance from where you started to here, is strangely invisible, filed away and forgotten. We keep a meticulous ledger of what's lacking and no ledger at all of what's been achieved. And the fourth reason ties it together. The new normal feels like it was always normal. The strength you built, the peace you found, the skill you developed, the fear you outgrew. Once it's yours, it feels like it was always yours. You forget you were ever the person who couldn't do this, who was afraid of that, who hadn't yet learned this. Your past self, and how far you've come from them, quietly disappears from view. Put all four together, and you get a person who has climbed an entire mountain and genuinely believes they're still standing at the bottom. Tonight is about correcting that, deliberately, warmly, and with honest eyes. Now, there's a real hesitation that stops people from looking back, and it deserves an honest answer. The fear that looking back means living in the past. We've been told, rightly in some ways, to be present, to move forward, to not dwell, and so any glance backward can feel like a betrayal of that, like getting stuck, like wallowing. So let's draw the line clearly, because looking back and living in the past are not the same thing at all. Living in the past is staring backward permanently, replaying old glories or old wounds, refusing to face forward, letting always crowd out what is. That's genuinely a trap. But looking back, the way tonight invites, is a glance, not a residence. You turn around, you take in the distance you've traveled, you let it inform you, and then you face forward again, steadier for having seen it. It's the difference between a hiker who stops, turns, admires how far they've climbed, and then continues up the trail, versus one who sits down facing backward and refuses to go on. The first is wisdom, the second is being stuck. And here's why the glance back actually serves your forward motion. First, reviewing gives you proof, and proof steadies you. When you can see, concretely, that you've already crossed hard terrain before, the next hard stretch stops looking impossible. You have evidence in your own history that you're someone who makes it through. Second, gratitude for the road isn't being stuck on it. Honoring where you've been is not clinging to it, it's letting it count. And third, most practically, you genuinely cannot know where to go next until you can see where you've already been. Direction requires a starting point. The look back isn't the opposite of moving forward. It's what makes the next step wise instead of blind. So looking back tonight isn't wallowing, and it isn't stalling. It's gathering the proof and the bearings you need to keep going well. So how do you actually harvest how far you've come tonight in a way that's honest and not just hollow self-congratulation? 3 moves, and the first one changes everything. First, compare yourself to a year ago, not to your ideal. This is the single most important correction because almost all our discouragement comes from measuring ourselves against where we think we should be, the ideal, the goal, the imagined further along version. Against that fantasy, we always fall short. So flip the direction of the measurement. Don't compare yourself to your ideal. Compare yourself to your actual past self, you 1 year ago, or 3 or 5. That's the honest yardstick because it measures real distance traveled instead of imaginary distance remaining. Second, name 3 specific things you can do, or hold, or handle now that you genuinely couldn't before. Not vague, I've grown. Specific. A skill you have now. A boundary you can hold that you couldn't. A fear that used to run you and doesn't anymore. A kind of pain you now know how to move through. 3 concrete pieces of evidence that you are not the person you were. Say them or write them, because naming them makes the invisible progress suddenly visible and undeniable. And third, the tender one. Thank the version of you who got you here. Somewhere back there is a younger, more frightened, less equipped you who kept going anyway, who made the choices and survived the things that put you where you are now. They did that for you. Tonight, turn around and thank them. Let the distance between that version of you and this one be what it actually is. Proof, written in your own life, that you are someone who grows, who endures, who arrives. And let that proof be the thing you carry into whatever comes next, not as pressure, but as quiet, earned confidence. You've done hard things before. The evidence is the whole road behind you. Here is your ritual for looking back on this first night of a new month. When the evening settles, step outside and find her. The waning gibbous moon, about 90% lit, softening down from full. And do the things she can't do for herself. Remember her beginning. Cast your mind back 2 weeks to when she was a thin, barely visible crescent, and take in the whole enormous distance she traveled to become the moon you're looking at now. Then turn that same lens on yourself. Think back to where you were 1 year ago, the you of last summer, with their particular fears, struggles, and unanswered questions. Hold that version of you clearly in mind. Now name 3 specific, real ways you are further along than they were. 3 things you can do, or hold, or survive now that you couldn't then. Say each one out loud to the waning moon, like counting a harvest. I can do this now. I can hold this now. This no longer frightens me the way it did. Let each one land as the proof it is. And finally, the tender close. Thank the version of you who carried you here, the one who kept going through the parts that were hard, who made the quiet choices that added up to all this distance. Say thank you out loud, to your own past self. And then just rest in it for a moment, not planning the next climb, not moving the goalposts, just standing on the ground you've actually gained, letting it be real, letting it count. You have come so much further than you tell yourself. Tonight, you finally look back and see it. So, let this be the letter you keep from tonight. Before you ask what's next, look back at how far you've already come. The waning moon grew from a barely there sliver to completely full in 2 weeks, an enormous transformation that was invisible on any single night and undeniable only across the whole arc. Your own growth is exactly the same, too slow to see day to day, but vast when you finally turn around and measure it honestly. And we're built to miss it. We move the goalposts. We remember the gap and forget the ground. We treat every hard-won new normal as though it was always ours. So tonight, deliberately correct for it. Compare yourself to a year ago, not to your ideal. Name the real things you can do now that you couldn't. Thank the version of you who carried you here. Looking back this way isn't living in the past. It's gathering the proof that you're someone who grows and endures, and carrying that quiet confidence into whatever comes next. You've come so far. Let yourself see it. Thank you for looking back tonight, and for letting how far you've come finally count. A new letter from the sky arrives every single day, and as the moon keeps waning, tomorrow we'll talk about the last gift of the retreat, telling the story of what you learned. Until then, honor the distance, carry the proof, and walk gently.